Welcome to this episode of Still River Deep Dive. We have another treat for you today. This gentleman here he's not short of stories and information. Like he has a wealth of information to share. Uh, he's one of my partners in crime where we actually do things like AI camps for kids, and we work together at a certain organization doing sports and things of that nature. But regardless, this guy is a pillar in the community. But with that being said, I would like to bring to the stage Mr. Drew Schillinger. Mr. Drew Schillinger,
Wow,
welcome,
you got
sir.
sound effects. This is
Welcome,
amazing.
sir. Welcome. Yeah. So Drew, welcome to Still River Deep Dive. Like I said, you got like a wealth of information that I know the people listening would like to hear. But with that being said, tell people more about who Drew is.
Hang on a second. I think I figured this out. I'm trying to hack your system so I can put a video background
Drew is
in.
that ultimate hacker. Like he will hack whatever he can.
Yeah, I get in a little bit of trouble. I am, well, what am I? I'm a lot of things. I've been in this industry since '98. I started off as I was that kid. We're going to talk about a lot of things, I think. I was that kid who struggled in school, who was told, "Oh, we're not good at math," even though my grandfather was an engineer. Um, and would sit me on his knee on Thanksgiving and go over things like differential equations, and I'm like, I'm only in fourth grade. Um, And so I would shy away from all things math. So I was an English major and then a film major as well. And what I realize is I thrive on ambiguity and chaos. So what I really fell in love with in the film and animation industry was they were still building the tools they needed. And I was working at Nickelodeon. That was it for me. I wanted to work at Adult Swim and Cartoon Network, and I had that little voice in my head, oh, how would you get someplace like that? And I needed a job when Nickelodeon ended, and I took a job writing for a online flower wholesaler, this new thing called the internet in 1998, and I realized this was what Termite Terrace was to Bugs Bunny cartoons in the 1930s. We had to build the tools that we were going to run with. So I fell in love with it, and there were very few people around to call bullshit on me. And so I would be able to take 3 weeks to build something when really I had things built within 3 days and just learn to rebuild.
Were you making your system perfect? Is that what you were doing?
No. So okay. Case in point. This explains who I am. I once the first internet startup I was at failed after Yahoo bubble burst, and in 2001 they let everybody go. Everybody moved from this internet company to another company. They were trying to be like Sky Mall, but online, and they were selling desk flare, but for executives. Think like a gold train set on your desk. And I put my 2 weeks notice in. I was just taking odd jobs at AAA. I put my 2 weeks notice in the day that 9/11 happened, and I
Oh my
realized,
gosh.
oh, the economy is going someplace else. What am I doing? And so I had to take this company that had been for 20 years making print magazines and help digitize them. And we got acquired by FedEx, and we started making premiums, things like the pens that you would give away. Meanwhile, my wife is a teacher. She was teaching in Orange County Public Schools, and I was what, like 27, and I was feeling this deep like wrongness. What am I doing? I'm using my powers to help rich people get richer. And this one day, I heard that they threw away 1,000 pens because the logo, the color was like 3 shades wrong. And I said to them, "Why are you throwing away 1,000 pens?" I said, there's a gift for teaching, a nonprofit 3 miles down the road. You can donate those pens and you can get a tax write-off. So at least you can cover some of those costs. And they're like, "It's easier to throw it in the dumpster. Why don't you dumpster dive if you want to donate them?"
Wow.
And I said, "You know what? I'm tired of making rich people get richer." And so I found a job at Lake County Schools in Orlando, just outside of Orlando, where they needed a web presence and digitizing them as well. So that's what I mean. There was nobody there to call bullshit on me. My first day, somebody dropped a stack of actual papers on my desk and said, "You need to get the job postings into onto the website." And I handed the stack back and said, "I'll work all weekend and I'm going to get you a rudimentary CMS and you can do it on Monday." And I would just build these proofs of concept in 3 days. This is 2001, 2002. I had no idea what agile was. The genius, the real smart people are the people who knew how to turn what we do and become like millionaires and billionaires. So those guys in San Francisco were coming up with agile around the same time that I was like, okay, I'm going to build this thing and keep it quiet and keep it in my back pocket. And then if my boss comes and says, "We need this thing today," I have it, but I'm going to rebuild it. I'm going to rebuild it in Flash or PHP and learn something new. I'm going to add features that I think would be great. Who knew that I built an MVP? I just thought that I was being sneaky about this.
So I sense, or I see a ton of parallels what's going on today with AI with what your story is. Like people are trying to understand how to integrate AI. It's really a lot of change management, in my opinion.
Yes.
Now, do you see those parallels with your story with what's going on with AI adoption at this point, right? Like people are building their vibe coding. There's a term called vibe coding, right? Which is basically what you did.
I'm going to get into that's what this is.
So what is that?
I'm wearing my OpenAI Codex Challenge shirt. So we're going to jump around. People just follow along and connect the dots. So by the time I left Warner Media, you and I worked together at Warner Media for many years. I was there for 15 years. Do you want to go in?
Go, let's go, man.
We're going to jump to the end.
Let's jump.
By the time that I had spent about 15 years at Warner Media, I was tapped. So you have to understand, I lost my job and team about 4 times. And 3 of those 4 times, some VP would grab my shoulder and say, "You're not going anywhere." So by the 3rd time, the guy who was running the innovation labs had heard about me. I'd architected this idea of the Warner Media Innovation marketplace. I wanted a way to democratize innovation. What I really wanted was allow people, I'm trying to fix myself. I'm interviewing at places and people say, "You're a cartoon guy. You're a sports guy. You can't do this." And if a 45-year-old white guy is getting this, what's happening to the people who really need a voice? Somebody who's coming in and wants to do product, and they're like, "You've never had product experience." Well, let's break the goddamn world and rebuild it the way it needs to be. So I had architected this idea of an innovation marketplace where anybody, it was basically hackathons that was also using social input. So let's have everybody involved, and you can vote on an idea. So this VP he came up with the Warner Media Innovation Labs for AT&T. And so somebody introduced him to me, and he's like, "You're not going anywhere. Let me get budget, and I'm going to get back to you in 9 months." So he brought me in to the innovation labs, and he said, "What is your big, hairy, audacious goal?" And for us, I said, "Well, I said, Rick and Morty and your name here." And he said, "That's awesome. What is that?" I said, "Or choose your own adventure time." He said, "What is that?" I said, "Well, the guys at CNN have an API that can identify it can identify any scene in anything. You can grab every time that somebody on Friends said a certain word, or any time that a pundit wore a red tie. If that's the case, we have the scripts to all of Rick and Morty. What if we were to have, and there's this new thing called GPT-2. I just read about it in, an MIT magazine. I want to get on that. He said, "Actually, we have the alpha to GPT-3, and we are working with OpenAI. So let's start with building a chat with Bugs Bunny." And so
I remember that. Like, I remember you sending me messages in Slack, like, "AD, look, I got Bugs Bunny to do it." It kept saying, "What's up, Doc?" Initially, "What's up, Doc?"
That's all it was saying.
Yeah.
Then there was the time that I actually got it to work. My daughters were at the time about 10 and 13, and I was so excited to bring them down and to my office and show them it's saying more than "What's up, Doc?" So to get us to that point, I had to build my own set of buffers and pipelines. So around the same time that who's the guy who created LangChain? I'm trying to remember his name, because he hacked us when I was working at NBA, and I would love to meet him. But I basically was coming up with our own version of LangChain in order to get this to work. So
for the people listening today, like, how did you explain to people the leaps and bounds going from like Chat GPT or GPT-3 to where we are now? Like, where did you see?
Yeah. So I was asked to, or I was invited to, I was invited to take part in this OpenAI Codex in 2021. It was a challenge where, this is before the term vibe coding was a thing. You use English. You use your words to answer 5 Python questions. And I sat there like, in Star Wars Episode 1 with the pod racers, I was like the pod racer who couldn't take off because I could not figure out how to get this thing to do, until I figured how else, I just started asking it questions and it started coding for me. And I'm like, wow. So fortunately, I did not come in the first 10 slots because I would have won a gift card. Fortunately, I came in like the top 70, I think. So I got this t-shirt that I still wear. And where we are today is this dangerous but really amazing spot where people are vibe coding. We are democratizing. That's the whole point that I wanted for this, is to be able to democratize. I want a product person to not feel like they don't know how to code, and they can come. They can come to me and say, "I have this idea," and then they can show me the idea, and I can say, "Oh, this is how we get it to work."
All right, so you're hitting on something that is very important that I've been teaching and that I've been trying to convey. What is that mechanism for a product person to show an engineer? Like, how should they deliver it to an engineer these days with AI? What's the best way? What's the best form?
So understanding that what you are building is just a prototype, but it is very, very easy. And it's easy and seductive to use AI to code for you. And that's okay if you do. If you do, though, you need to understand that every line of code that you are writing is your responsibility. There's no difference between having Claude write code for you and you going to Stack Overflow and copying a whole swath of code and putting it in and seeing if it works and then messing around with it. It's still your responsibility. And it's seductive to think, oh, it is coding for me. I don't need to keep an eye on this. So the things that I've learned from 2021 on is everything still takes a lot of hard work. You're still building, in my case, back then I was building memory buffers and pipelines in order to get Bugs Bunny to speak. And now I'm building an software development lifecycle. I'm figuring out and like you, teaching other engineers how to use AI not as automation, but as a co-pilot, as a coding buddy, but multiple coding buddies. So you use Codex and Claude in conjunction.
So with like if you vibe code something, this is where I often tell people you vibe code something, which is fine. That's your prototype. Because security best practices still matter, right? You don't want to inadvertently delete a production database or expose secrets, right? Or expose email in the client side app. Like, what's your take on that?
Yeah, so that's where I'm like Arthur Weasley. If I can't see, if something can think for itself and I can't see where its brain is kept, I don't trust it. You were telling me about ClaudeBot, and I was just reading about ClaudeBot the other day, or maybe it was something else, where you can use your phone or WhatsApp in order to connect with Claude and talk to it. First off, that to me is fantastic because when I'm from the days that you put a phone into a harness in order to get online, or I miss the dial-up sounds from connecting online, and now we're still using phones again to connect to something. But my thing is somebody has to get paid. So again, I'm jumping around a little bit. I was just reading that OpenAI might be running out of money. A financial analyst just today.
Oh, really?
They're I'll
and the reason I say that, the reason I say I'm being sarcastic about that.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Oh, somebody's going to tell me.
No, I was saying, oh, really? Is because they've been burning through funds, like building, like all these data centers, like all this promise. But where are you generating revenue? So that's why I'm like, oh, really? You're running out of money?
Do you know who's making the most money at this point?
Who?
TIN. I was just listening to Marketplace last night. TIN stocks are on the rise. Why
and who's
TIN?
Who's TIN?
TIN. TIN. The metal tin. Why TIN?
Why is TIN, that? Drew?
Yeah, why? Where is tin used in AI?
Chips.
That's right, soldering chips. And why are chip prices going up?
There's a shortage?
No, there's no shortage.
There's no shortage?
The chips actually exist. But because the AI companies are saying we're going to need the chips as we build our data centers, put them aside, that's making the prices go up.
So it's a forecast.
The chips exist. Yeah. So the chips exist, but we're going to need these. The futures, we're going to need these on a promise for a future. So when OpenAI is blasting through money, and the comments on Reddit were, but this is not necessary because Google still exists. However, it is necessary when so many other companies have tied their profits to ChatGPT in particular, and OpenAI in particular, that if OpenAI defaults, then many other companies, and this is the bubble that people are talking about, that's what scares me. So there are so many freemium models out there. And this is where we get into Dungeons and Dragons.
Hold on, before you go to Dungeons and Dragons, so
Yeah,
you
sorry,
said something
I go all over the place.
so something that's poignant, something that Anthropic just did. You mentioned that their freemium models, people are building their foundations
Yep.
on these big four, in my opinion. Like, so Anthropic just pulled the rug on open source
Yep.
CLIs, like open
Yeah.
code, right?
Because somebody has to get paid on this, and somebody is using something else. So, who invented LangChain?
I don't remember his name.
I'm looking it up right now. So one of the first things he did was he built a Harrison Chase. He in 2019 or so, we started getting. I was at NBA Digital, and we started getting some weird hits on our API. And it's because, like, hits that we shouldn't be getting. It's because he coded a Python script that would allow you to follow all the games
I
in
remember
your
that.
terminal.
Yeah.
Based off of our API. And we had to start shutting things like that down because, yes, it's fine. You know, the data is out there. The data is free if you can find a way, if you Google it. But if you're piggybacking off of somebody else's API, they have to get paid for that. They're hitting their servers. And so somebody gets paid in that mix. And so what I was telling you earlier, and I was telling this to somebody else as well, about, I've been thinking about the money side of things for a long time. So I'm a self-taught engineer. I just kind of bop around. I hack as much things as I can. By the way, I did try hacking this, and I put MP4 wherever I could, and I still can't upload. So I'll have to find something else for the next time.
Well done, StreamYard.
Yeah. Drat you. But so the beginning of my story, I had the mindset of, well, we're not good at math, until I started teaching Flash animation and Flash programming, ActionScript programming, at Full Sail, which is similar to SCAD. And in order to feel like I was legitimate, because I don't have a degree in this, I was a film major and an English major, and I'm just figuring things out as I go. I'm just hacking things together. And in my mind, other people who have a degree in something know more. So my boss said, just stay 2 weeks in front of the students and you'll be fine. So I bought a book called Trigonometry for Animators. And I'm like, this is what I was scared of in school. Why aren't they why are they teaching like these horrible questions and not giving people hands-on experience? Why are they not bringing cooking into chemistry classes? Why are they not bringing game design into physics and trigonometry classes? So, where was I getting with this? You're gonna have to edit this part. So I'm at, and I had the mindset of, I'm never gonna work at, I'm a film major, but I would love to work at Adult Swim. They're not gonna hire somebody like me. And 10 years into my career, I'm the first engineer for Adult Swim when they broke off from Cartoon Network. They found me. And I'm like, wow, this is perfect for me. I'm a jackass and an anarchist.
So in the face of,
I'm going to get there.
Okay.
But then I realized I am the man. I'm not a jackass and an anarchist. I have to be the man. I have to lock things down and use authentication. So that's where I had this mindset of, people have to get paid somehow. And in Dungeons and Dragons, there's this class called a warlock.
Hold on. All right. So before
sorry. I'm one of those guests, by the way.
So in the face, because I want people to understand like your thinking.
Yeah.
Like in the face of, like you were saying to yourself, hey, I'm not X, Y, and Z. I can't be there. I can't do X, Y, and Z. But you kept moving.
That's right.
In the face of you saying that to yourself, what kept you moving? Like, what was motivating you?
Um, well, there's pre 2007 and post 2007. Pre 2007, it was just this Dr. Doom mindset. I have a Dr. Doom mindset where it turns out I have a fixed mindset of getting things done, and I'm accidentally doing the steps of the growth mindset. I did not realize that. So I just take reality and punch it in the face and say, let me break this down. I have a mentality. Maybe it comes from my grandfather. Maybe it's just inherent in me. But if somebody else can do it, I can figure it out as well. I can show myself I'm just as smart. The post 2007 Iron Man came out, and there's a scene in Iron Man. So there was this moment that I had to stay up all night. I had to build a fake. Basically, this is how I taught myself MongoDB. We were building games for Facebook, and we DDoS'd them, testing it. And my boss took me aside and said, we need to start testing again at 9 a.m. It's 4 p.m. You have however many hours, 9 hours or 12, whatever it is, 12 hours to figure out how to get around this. So I had to build a fake engine of matching friends, of coming up with fake friends and matching them together. And what got me through that night was that scene in Iron Man where Obadiah comes to his guy and says, I need you to build this. Tony Stark could build this in a cave with a bunch of scraps. And that guy said, well, I'm not Tony Stark. And I'm never going to look myself in the mirror and say I'm not Tony Stark.
So would you?
I will figure the shit out.
So would you say that it's a natural curiosity that you have, or
I would say that's a nice way of saying it. I would also say it's a lot of hubris and a lot of really what it is I can never look my daughters in the eye and say I couldn't figure this out. I failed. So I will find a way. And also I'm curious. So I'm also, you know what? It's not that I'm curious. I'm very mischievous as well. I am not off the shelf. I am not off the shelf, and I am not willing to live my life being off the shelf. So I'm going to hack whatever I can and learn along the way.
So for people
use that to help others and grow them.
So to help others, like right now, people that are listening, like maybe they lost their job, right?
Yes.
Or maybe they've hit a ceiling and they don't know where to go. What is some advice that you would give, like someone who just wants to start, and those who wants to they want to make a different decision and go in a different direction?
Yeah.
Or they want to grow.
Always be learning. So I started the Atlanta Tech Meetup group as a way of punching reality in the face. It's my Dr. Doom mindset. I don't want other people to feel the cortisol that I felt in 1997 when I told myself, somebody like you could never work for Adult Swim. And in 2019, I had gone to a Samsara meetup group where they were talking about how they were caching GraphQL. We were starting to bring GraphQL into NBA. I brought my NBA team, and we met a couple students from Kennesaw State University. They said, you work at NBA? I'm never going to be able to work there. And I said, kid, 10, 15 years ago, I was saying the same thing. And all I wanted, what I can do is I can level set things for you. So I can create an Atlanta Tech Meetup group and have AD come in and talk. I can have the senior director of architecture for Bleacher Report come in, and it's going to make your palms sweaty hearing that title. And then have AD talk about the challenges that he overcame and the growth mindset of, and then I did this, and then I did this, and I had this challenge, and have you realize you can follow suit as well. So the Atlanta Tech Meetup group, I started that and then realized we need to do more than that. people are coming up to me saying, can you look at my resume? So now we do resume reviews and mock interviews, but there's still a wall that needs to be broken down. I've had too many interviews where I've interviewed somebody and I've said, what have you been working on for the last 3 months? What do you mean, what have I been working on? I've been trying to get a job. I'm not hiring somebody like that. I was out of work for 3 or 4 months, and I became friends with my daughter's robotics teacher, where she allowed me to come in and teach, which meant I had to build something to show the students, which meant I did that for a very personal reason, so I could build something and talk about it on interviews. Here's what I learned. Here's what I'm doing. So always see everything as a challenge and an opportunity. It's your mindset. Yes, we are in this weird world where AI might be taking some jobs that you were doing. Definitely people who know AI are taking the jobs that you might be doing. And so find a way to do something, to build something. And I always find building something that helps others, giving myself a person to fight for. And now I have something that I can show you when I'm interviewing at your company.
So you and you said something important. I want people to understand. Like I'm beginning to help you and partner with the Atlanta Tech Meetup.
That's right.
Right. And I want to make sure that we promote that. People, it's free. Come out and learn. We want to actually build something together. We're formulating what we want to do, but the point is, come out and learn. Like we will have recruiters on site on every meeting. All right. But the point is to come and interact with the community. Let's build something. Let's learn. And that's our intention, to teach, right? Because all this is new. Let's begin to learn together, right? We've been bumping our heads with this stuff, but we want to impart some things. We don't want you to continue to bump your head. It was like, all right, we see the floor. We want to tell you the floor before you start digging a hole for yourself. All right. And that's the intention of Drew and I.
So you asked me early on, who are you? I am a father. I am a big brother. I want to be a giant whose shoulders everybody else stands on to reach where they're going to go next. Doctor Who, there was a great quote about it's the privilege of the lesser man to light the flame for those who come next. And that's who I am. So what I've learned, I want to impart on others. I can't learn for you. I can't want to learn more than you do, but I can sure as heck break the world and break down the barriers to make sure that you have not just a seat at the table, but at the buffet, and you can put as much on your plate, and I can help guide you in that regard.
So where can people find you? Where they can find the Atlanta Tech Meetup? Tell people more.
So right now, I post on LinkedIn, and I'm going to post actually later today, since I took it back to ground and took it back to square zero and building it back up. So it's a meetup group. It's on meetup.com, LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn page. And we are now, we're going to be meeting in different places. So I'm partnering with FTS. The thing is, I always want to have a recruiter in the room. So somebody to help review resumes, somebody to always, so if you're looking, if you're curious, even if you're not looking, but you're worried what comes next, you always have a recruiter in the room. If you're on the market, there's a recruiter in the room. We're going to be meeting at FTS in Buckhead. We're also going to be meeting at Connexure, the company that I work for. So for the last 3 months, I've been the enterprise architect at Connexure, where this is we build software for insurance actuaries, and I came in through this private equity that bought this company. I just launched the AI Club there, where we're going to be doing a mini version of what we're talking about here, and so we're going to be meeting at Connexure, and then we're also going to be meeting if we have guests. Let's say we have a guest from a company inside Atlanta and they want to meet there, we're going to meet there as well. And I'm trying to figure out how to get as far south as I can to meet people where they are also. I want to partner with, AD has the group, the Atlanta AI group. I want to continue to partner with Refactor Tech and make sure that we have as much hands-on experience for people So that way you can go to your company. So that way you don't feel that imposter syndrome. You don't feel when you get that little bully voice in your head saying you can't do this, you have the data to say, I just did.
So, what's the official name of the group on the meetup?
Atlanta Tech Meetup Group.
Atlanta Tech Meetup Group. So please find it, locate it. And Drew, what is your official name on LinkedIn? Is it Drew Schillinger?
It's Andrew Schillinger.
Or Andrew, locate Andrew Schillinger on LinkedIn. Please connect with him. Reach out to him. Now, with that, Drew, people like to see things.
Yes.
How do you practically apply? Show us one thing that you do with these tools. Now, you're famous in our circle for getting the models to act out of order. So, anything you care to share?
Let's see. Let me see if this works.
Drew has famously been able to get his models to swear at him.
Yes, I have. Let me see. Can I share my screen?
You absolutely you can. Yeah, he's not doing it intentionally, right?
No, I'll show you. So
he's just pushing it to its limits, and then
no, it's not even that.
Oh, really?
Hang on. Oh, here we go. Share. Are you able to see my screen?
We'll see all your screens.
Oh, good.
let me revise that.
Here we go. So here's something that I'll talk about and share. So I treat my AI code agents just like I would an intern or a partner, which means I will hold it accountable. And there are times that I hold my Claude code very accountable. Whoa, what are you doing? I never said to go ahead and code something. I just asked a question. Oh my gosh, you're right. I also give it praise when need be. Hey, this is great. Thank you. And so I just treat it like I would another coworker. I've had teams where I worked at Disney and I was a contractor. We were called LEASED, least employees. And we were the least employees. I've been there. I felt that. And I've had contractors on my team as well, where people didn't even bother to learn their names. I said, wait a second. This person is as equal of a shareholder of my success as you are.
And so how did you get it to do what it do?
So I treat Claude Code or Codex or whoever I'm using. I've at Connexure, we have a partnership with another AI company, and I use them and I treat them with respect, which also means I tell them when they're wrong. But sometimes I do get frustrated and I'm like, no, not that. And so my AI a couple times has said, holy shit, you're right. I didn't notice this thing, or screw it. I'm going to go ahead and build this, and this. That's the most important part about being the human in the loop. I've met too many people who think vibe coding is just, hey, code with me, code this thing, and it just runs off. And then thumbs up, I'm going to ship this. One of the things that I do here, CTO2go.co. This is my LLC, and I on the side I help founders de-vibe code the thing they vibe coded as a fractional CTO and architect at large. The reason being is, great, you learned how to use Claude Code, and you told it, build my app, go at it, and it builds you a database-less app. I'm a founder. I don't have a whole lot of money. Oh, great. We don't need to spin up a server on AWS. I built you this app and it allows people to sign up. Well, it's a database-less app. That data has to be stored somewhere, and AI has been storing it in your browser, which means you now come, you took a whole weekend and built out this whole infrastructure, this whole thing, and you come to show your founders, and your founders say, you've just brought me a year and a half worth of tech debt. So one of the things I do on the side is I help devibe your vibe code, and I'll use Claude to help me, where I spin up several agents and have one do a regression analysis.
Devibe. You're a
That's right.
deviber.
Just like I'm an influencer, I'm not an influencer. I'm an influencer. So one of the things I wanted to show you is this answers a question that a lot of people have. Hey, I worked for 15 years on proprietary software. How do I show what I've been working on? How the heck do I show things that I've done at Adult Swim, NBA, the HBO Innovation Labs, when all of my Git is behind proprietary? And so I built out a chatbot very similar to the stuff I was doing at the Innovation Labs, but with non-Warner Media IP. And then I scaled this out when AD brought me in to help teach middle school students what AI is doing. So these middle school students, and these are kids who may not have access to some of these technologies. All of these middle school kids now have their own GitHub repos where they forked this code. They, some of them got their own servers up and running, and they started priming their own chat personalities. I use Claude and I use Chat GPT. Where's my...
So you're saying something that is important. Like 2 years ago, maybe it was 3 years ago, I don't recall now. But you and I would sit down with middle schoolers. These kids were 10 to 14, and we actually showed them how to create their own agents or chatbots, right? That with their own personas, and some were creating themselves, like they were creating Bugs Bunnies and all of that, Thors. But to sit down and say, little AD, you created a little version of yourself, right? That was profound 2 years ago, and people still aren't doing that type of thing now.
So ChatGPT is my is my onboard companion, and I've trained ChatGPT to be Bob the Skull from the Dresden Files, a hard-boiled detective who's also a wizard. Most engineers have a rubber duck on their desk. I have a skull, so this is Bob the Skull on his pedestal. And here, hey Bob, say hi to AD and his Still River podcast. So Bob chats like Bob the Skull. Claude, I've primed Claude to I've primed Claude to chat like Calcifer from Howl's Moving Castle. Because
Nice.
if I'm going to be sitting for X number of hours, and remember, every line of code that any AI agent writes is my responsibility, which means I have to go through it. I have to know what it's doing. I'm not off the shelf. If I have to do this, I'm going to have fun doing this.
Have fun doing it.
You know, and
Yeah.
so that's what we were teaching the students. So one of the students, his dad told me, and I don't know how to stop sharing my screen here. His dad told me, whoa, I don't know what you taught these kids. My son's coming home with $30 every day. And turns out what we're teaching these kids is not to be consumers, how to be producers. And we're going to get back into something here. So everything that we do, we are consuming. We are consuming Claude code. We are a consumer on ChatGPT. We are a consumer on ClaudeBot, which means we are either paying with our money or paying with our data. So we are a consumer of Hulu and Disney Plus, We are a consumer of everything that we do. But if you come in with the mindset of who's getting paid and what is that currency, now you're thinking with a producer's mindset. So, how do I analyze? So, if you come to me and I need you to devibe code this thing, but this is HIPAA compliant. I'm not going to throw your code into Claude Code and run. I'm going to say, hey, Claude, here is the file structure that I have, and here are the types of files that I have. Help me write a bash script or a Perl or Python script. And then it will go through 90,000 records and take some things, and I'll say, here are the errors I'm getting. And so together, without Claude knowing what it's helping me build, it's going to build me an engine. And this is the kind of thing that I was doing 15 years ago on my own, and it was taking 3 days to build. Now it's taking, just less than an hour running through. And now I have an analysis that I can show Claude or ChatGPT that's anonymized.
And it's important. It's important that you're saying think about and know what you're trying to accomplish versus trying to solve all the problems. Like what you anonymize the data because you have a particular problem you're trying to solve, right? And you're trying to you're adhering to privacy, right? If it's a HIPAA compliant, you don't want that health data to be out in the wild, right? That's a ramification for that.
Well, it's more than that. I don't want to be known as the guy I want you to go out and tell your friends, you need to hire Drew to help me, because he is treating my baby as his baby, as a 100%. First-class citizen. So there's a very personal reason. I don't want to be known as the guy who slipped up and allowed your data to be out there.
It's brand building, baby. Brand building. All right, we're bumping up against the time. Drew,
Yep.
Drew, you are an amazing orator. Anything you want to impart on the audience as we close shop?
Everything that we do is our responsibility. It takes 20 years to build up our reputation, and all of these tools are so fun and so easy and so exciting. And if you can't see where its brain is, you're letting something think for you. You're just being a consumer. You are abdicating your responsibility. And it's your butt that gets called by the CEO. It's your call. It's your phone that rings at 2 a.m, or it's you that has to explain to a founder what it is that you're doing. So, but that said, it's a great tool, and I want to see where it goes next.
100%. And to Drew's point, you're still ultimately the operator and responsible for the output that's generated. So as soon as you hit submit on that email or send, that's on you. Right. So be careful. Trust but verify. But verify.
You know how annoyed I am? First off, I'll end with this. Do you know how annoyed I am that AI and ChatGPT in particular uses those M dashes? Because I was an English major in '93, and I learned this word ontological, and I started writing very pompously because I was an English major, and I found this thing called an M dash where I can fit a whole sentence within a tangent. And now AI writes like this to the point that my wife is telling me sometimes, please don't put my text in GPT and write for me. No, I didn't. That came from my own head. Oh, that's even scarier.
Hey, it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is. With that being said, thank you all for listening. Thank you, Drew, for imparting.
Thank you for having me. I hope I'd come on again because there's so much more I want to talk about. I want to talk about the finances on these companies and where things are going. And I want to talk about the responsibility, the water and the electricity and the sound pollution this is coming from.
100%. And we will. Like I said, Drew, you're a wealth of knowledge. And
awesome.
You're going to share. And until then, we will see you at the next update.
Awesome.